It's MK and I am here for another Woodgrain and Winter layout for you guys today. And today I have pulled out all of my goodies from the kit that I am playing with, which is just basically the Christmas Spectacular bundle or kit, and then I added Woodgrain to this project. So I've got my chipboard pieces. I have the little embellishment pack that came, I believe, with the cluster kit. Instead, there's two different ones. One came with the page kit and the other one came with the cluster kit. I have the chipboard pieces. I have the die cut pieces that I've already pre-picked out just to make sure, and then a few laser cut pieces as well, and then one of these chipboard frames that I seem to be ignoring this time around, but I do remember that they are adhesive backed. So I also have a picture of the train that was selected this year to be the Polar Express train. And then I am going to try to incorporate one of these color swatches on my background. So I'm going to use background number 4 from Ella and Vive. And they had an entire wood grain packet, and I'm not sure if it's still available or not, but they're right up my alley. Ella and Vive is such an awesome company that I love. And I'm glad that I got, I'm glad I was able to get my hands on at least one of these wood grain packets. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the branding strip off, and then I selected another paper as well for my background, so that way I can, incorporate the Christmas Spectacular paper. Sorry, I got so excited about the wood grain, I forgot to tell you guys about the paper. All right, so I went ahead and I measured the inner bit of my frame. And I'm going to cut my photo down so it fits in ever so slightly, and then just showing up a little bit. And then I'm going to take my paper and rip apart the top and the bottom and leave the graphic portion out of my layout for now. So I really wanted to use this paper on both sides. And so I came up with this small solution to where I could use the non-graphic side and still get that portion of the side, but then when I flip it over, I can still use the what's it called? The red portion, which is like the dictionary printed words all over. So I just traced the bottom half of the printed paper, and I'm very messily cutting out my wood grain, but a little bit less than the other paper because I want it to look like it's 3 separate layers: a top layer, a middle layer, and a bottom layer. And so I want to scuff up the edges of my paper as well, so that way the bottom layer definitely has that layered look on it. So I'm just making sure that it is 12 inches. Now I could have, in the long run, I could have cut off a portion of this wood grain where it was going to at least 1.5 inches, and made another 12 inch, made my paper 12 inches long using this green upper piece. But I decided not to, just because of the fact that I have a million pieces of wood grain. I already have the bottom piece of this wood grain to use. I really don't need to scrimp and save on all of my pieces. Together they make a super thick layout, but I definitely wanted to make sure that I had all of my pieces where I wanted them, and played out, because this layout's going to become very top heavy, and I definitely wanted that sturdiness to go along. Included in the cluster kit was this elastic cording, and so trying to make a bow and get it to be tight was quite a challenge, just because when you pull on it, it springs back. Well, of course, like an elastic band, right? Like a rubber band. But I was able to make the second knot go a lot faster than the first knot. It was just very challenging at the first time trying to make the little bows and get them right where I wanted them and the right size and everything. So what I'm going to attempt to accomplish is have a bunch of elements laid out on a string or a garland, or however you want to call it. I really did want to do like a garland and have all the things spread out. I keep saying I have a ton of embellishments, and so I am trying to be very embellishment heavy instead of trying to spread my wealth throughout the entire month. I know I will have more than enough pieces to get down to the end of the month. Will I have a layout every day? I am not sure about that. I'm trying, but I definitely wanted to get this collection used up because I still have a bin of Christmas supplies, right? I basically put all of my Christmas supplies on hold because I really wanted to play with this collection. It just was my favorite to this day. Like last year, I had a 49 and Market collection that I absolutely loved as well. But for some reason, I think it was because it had a little bit of blue in it. It was more like a greeny blue rather than blue. And so I think that that's what drew me to this collection because there is no other colors but the traditional ones, except for yellow. But like I said, I see that as gold. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and lay out all of my pieces. I have banner pieces, I have tags, and I have what looks almost like a gift tag. So I've got just the perfect pieces for something like this. And what I'm going to do is hold them to my elastic piece using these little paper clips that came in the embellishment cluster. And I thought it was perfect because one, it's going to help me hold all the pieces in place until I can actually glue them down. And then two, it takes place of needing to cover up my tag holes because they almost look like they are strung from the tag holes. So I thought that was pretty cool too. I am going to pop things up on a little bit of foam just because my chipboard piece is, actually I have several chipboard pieces. I believe the HoHoHo, the 25th, which I believe I used that 25th on a different layout. I don't think it makes it on this layout, or does it? Oh, it does. Never mind. There must be multiple 25ths in these collections. But yeah, I have lots of chipboard pieces. So it does become quite a thick layout and a lot of dimension. So I do add some chipboard pieces just so that way I can keep the dimensions level, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to add this huge swoosh of red with poinsettias and a little bit of lacy bits in the background on my wood grain. But I have to make sure that all of my pieces are where I want them before I add the swish, because I want to make sure if I have to cut the swish apart, I want to make sure that I only use what's going to be seen instead of, the whole, I don't know, using up the whole thing. But I do end up using up the whole thing, just to let you guys know. Because once I figured it out that I have a lot of gaps in my little banner pieces, it does become useful to use up the whole thing. So this train was picked and chosen to be they pick different trains every year to be what they call the reindeer flyer, because you really can't use the Polar Express because it's a coined phrase, a trademark phrase. So they've called it the reindeer flyer, but everybody knows it as the Polar Express. So we being, I can't say the locals because I don't live in this area, but yes, we being the locals just have always called it the Polar Express. So this is actually train number 204, and every year they have this sign that they put on the side that changes the train number to 1225. And so it comes 1225 for the train number just for the day, or actually I should say the month, because they do this all month long, starting the weekend after Thanksgiving, by the way, if you guys are curious. So this particular train was built in 1956 by General Motors, which I just think makes me giggle because, I had a washer and dryer by General Motors. The electromotive division of General Motors. I'm sorry, I'm tripping all over myself. There's a fun fact about this particular engine, is that it is the only diesel engine on the railroad that has a dynamic brake system. And so I will get into that a little later when I actually do pictures and documentation of the maintenance shop. The maintenance shop is the front part of the maintenance shop is where they actually do all of the maintenance and some super cool quote unquote toys in there that you would never see in a normal maintenance shop because they are for moving huge components. I mean, I've never even seen them in the mining industry, and we've got some huge components in the mining industry. But these ones are fabulous for trains. And then in the back of the maintenance shop is the train house. And that is where all the trains are parked. Like they all have their own little cubbies, like horses, parked in their corrals. And I just think it is great. And beside each train is a plaque and giving you the history of that train. And I've actually seen that in barns for horses. My girlfriend raises horses out a little past the outskirts of Elko. She raises horses and breeds them for horse tracks. And so she has the whole history of the horse, and who she has bred and all that stuff. And how many wins that this colt has done and all that stuff. And it is fabulous that anybody that wants to breed those horses, now that I've gone off from trains to horses, but anybody that wants to breed it, they can go and read the history and say, yep, I want you to breed with that horse. And I just think that that's great. And the train yard makes me think of that every time that I walk in and see all of the engines and all their history right next to it. So anyways, all right, so now that I have my swoosh put down and everything else glued down, that is pretty much it for the layout. I absolutely love how this ended up looking. I'm loving this wood grain idea with the Christmas or the winter. It is just absolutely fabulous. So don't forget to check out the link down below. It is for a playlist for all of the fabulous people that have joined us this month in the winter and wood grain and checking out all of the layouts. I am slowly but surely working my way through the videos. There are a lot already. I'm super excited. So anyways, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. And don't forget, also, I'm so sorry. Don't forget to check out Janet Fritz's channel, who is Galaxy Girl Creations here on YouTube, because she is the brainchild behind Woodgrain and Winter. She is. So anyways, again, thank you so much, and I will check you guys all later. Bye.